Today I'm gonna break down how I made Overdrive with DAEGHO. Pretty sure that's how you say his name. I've been bumping this dude Bloody Tango a lot. He's my favorite dude in the funk world, and listening to his music over and over really inspired me to put my own spin on the genre. So that's kind of where things began. Let's get into it. Alright, started this beat the same way I start like 85% of my beats, with the drums. Right, I just laid down that groove, and I can break down, let's see, I can break down some of the sounds for you. So the kick, pretty distorted. Check out, here's what it really sounded like at the beginning, was this. That's what the normal kick sounded like. I kept that in there mainly for the, for like the bottom end it's providing. But it just didn't have enough like grit to it for me, so I added in this distorted layer, which is taking that same kick, just adding some Camel Crusher to it, limiting it for volume, and then clipping the shit out of it. It sounds pretty shitty on its own, right? But when it's mixed in with everything, it's so subtle that it sounds pretty good. Alright, so then I have this hi-hat pattern. I'll show you what I do with the hi-hats later. So once I had this pattern down, I was really thinking about melody. And so I tried a few different melodies, playing around with the classic 808 bell sound that like every funk sound uses. You know that sound. I wasn't really coming up with anything that I liked, and at the same time I wanted to avoid sounding too generic, so I ultimately tossed that idea and decided to focus more on the bass and really making the bass the star of the show. So I put this bad boy together here. So here's how the bass is constructed. So I made this like bass that I call like a destruction bass, and this is my personal sample. I made this a while back ago, and I save it for cases like this. This is what it sounds like. Right, it's just basically a super distorted sine wave, and I just sampled that really long note and can use it as an instrument. So I just took that and I added this Cymatics 808 sample on top of it to kind of give it a transient in the beginning. See, without it, I kind of wanted it to have its own sort of kick sound. So that was the main bass sound that I used, and I really liked the like sort of fifth harmonic that it was creating. So I decided to make a layer and isolate that specific harmonic. So I isolated that harmonic, added some OTT, some saturation, some more EQ to kind of dip out some of the harshness, and even more saturation. So then when I took those two sounds, bounced them out, layered them together, came out sounding like this. So after all that is when the main star of the show really came into play, and that is this baby right here. I know funk has this whole subgenre drift, and it's always tied with street racing and shit. So I ripped this car engine off of YouTube. I put some processing on it, and I decided to use that as I decided to use that and make that a key element in a lot of my other sounds. So now if we go back to these hi-hats, check it out. I actually layered the car engine sound with the hi-hats. So because the car engine has this tonal quality to it, it kind of takes care of the melody problem that I was having before, because it kind of gives it a bit of a melody too. I also decided to use the car engine in the bass. There wasn't a whole lot piquing my interest, but this moment, that part I decided to use. So I blended a lot of those car elements into and throughout the track. Now that that car sound was basically taking over my melody and taking care of that problem for me, I still wanted the funk, that 808 bell, but instead of it being like the main melodic element, I just threw it in there to kind of accent certain moments, like here. I had that looping, I had that sounded pretty good. Just added in some transition noises and stuff, built the verse out. And for the pre-hook, I wanted to add in a more exotic element. I went into it with a similar mindset that I did with Red Meets Red. I was searching for instruments that kind of had an Arabian sort of vibe, because that's sort of the scale that I was using. I found this preset in Labs called Frozen Strings Super Soul Teso Cello. I totally pronounced that right. So I took this little melody right here, and decided that sounded pretty good. I was just going to loop that over what I already had. And then I added this other layer here that's kind of crazy. Check. All that actually is I bounced out the hi-hats that I had from before. So all I did was I took this sound and just did some crazy shit to it. Like, I'm pretty sure I like half-timed it and just did some crazy effects processing on it. And it eventually came out sounding like this. Just threw some wah on it. And that to me sounded pretty cool. It was kind of like it had this very funky rhythm to it, you know, like when you do the vocal samples and funk, it kind of gave it that sort of bounce and rhythm to it, I felt like. Then from there, after I had the hook, verse, pre-hook, and hook, I went out and built out the intro. Something that you may have never noticed about the intro is I have the beat coming in a half a beat early. So check it out. If I take all these elements in the intro here and move everything back so that it's hitting, move it all back so that's hitting right on the 3. Yep, I'll move the automation with it. Check out how differently it feels now. Now, it's a subtle thing that you may have never noticed, and that's perfectly okay. It's one of those things that I don't really want you to notice, but want you to notice at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's just this little detail that I wanted the beat to come in a half a beat early so that it kind of throws you off a little bit, catches you off guard just in the slightest. So anyways, that's just a little thing that I did, and the outro has this kind of fun thing. Check it out. Every person out there who knows anything about mixing is going to tell you, don't put reverb on the bass. Well, I've had a problem following rules my whole entire life, so I said, fuck it. Here we go. I'm putting reverb on the bass. That's fucking massive, right? Tying in with the whole street racing vibe and everything, to me it kind of gave it that leave you in the dust feel. That little tail out, you know? So I just put in all those little details to tie everything together. You know how I do. Next up, find the... I call the beat overdrive. So if you don't know what overdrive is, in your car, you know, overdrive is like the highest gear of your transmission, right? But in music, overdrive is also like the highest volume of your amp. So when you plug a guitar into an amp, you turn it up to its highest volume, you're in this state of overdrive that produces a natural saturation to your sound. The sound was like popularized by early blues players and rock players and stuff, and it's been around for a while. So overdrive just like came natural to me. It felt really fitting because it's like it has this musical tie-in, it has the car tie-in, which has the funk tie-in. Everything was kind of making sense. I was really happy with how the beat came out because it was so, like, everything kind of just came together really naturally for me. It's probably the best beat I've made in the shortest amount of time. For me, things were flowing really naturally and just, it had a good momentum behind it. So I wanted the right artist on it. Now, DAEGHO is in Outcast Block with me, and both of us have been wanting to make music together for a while. So for me, he was the first and natural choice. Because we're in the same collective and we talk regularly, communication with him was really easy. He's such an easy person to work with and easy person to communicate with. You know what? I'm gonna have DAEGHO tell you himself what he did and what his process was.
Howdy, cowboy. I don't know what that was, but anyways, we will continue. So basically, how I make every single song is pretty much the same. Basically, this is my process. This is my secret sauce. I'm giving it to you right now for free. You'll thank me later. First, I get the beat.
Pay attention. First, you take the gram.
Then, I freestyle a whole bunch of gibberish.
I'm with fire marks. When the relay starts to run away train. Master, she know the pants got spit like a plaster. After a bench, you did like go like dash your faster, motorbike faster.
But this is how I do it. I just freestyle the flow, get the vibe down pat, different bunch of voices, a whole bunch of voices, a whole bunch of voices, a whole bunch of voices,
A whole bunch of voices.
and I fucking go through, pick the best one, and then I write lyrics around those flows and weird noises that I make with my mouth. And then I fucking record. And then I send the vocals. But this is what I did in this case because I don't really fucking send vocals to other people. I mix my own stuff. But Tonic mixed this. So I had to send them raw. Just my plain voice. So he puts the effects on, he mixes it. I'm not really used to doing that. So this was a bit interesting for me to send my naked vocals. You know, it was pretty cool to see that someone else can actually mix that. I'm just really, really impressed with the way it came out. I've never heard my voice in a different mixing style before. It sounded like a different version of me. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd definitely do it again, man.
Alright guys, so I'm back. You may notice some of my plugins are missing, or some of my plugins aren't working right now. That's because my internet is down, and they need me to be online for them to be working. Now, you may think that you have the worst internet in the planet, but you don't, okay? Not even close. My internet is complete ass. It's the worst internet in the planet. Literally, there are people in third world countries and even fourth world countries who I'm positive have better internet connection than I do. With that out of the way, I'll show you how I mixed DAEGHO's vocals. So the most important thing to me in mixing his vocals is to preserve his sound and his image and sort of what he wants. You know, I wanted him to fuck with it. I wanted him to sound like he still sounded like him, but leveled up. So here are the main vocals. Go. And as you can see, each different layer, I put different set of processing on.
Stop my foot, that one
I wanted each individual part to have its own little nuances, but at the same time I wanted it to have continuity and for it to sound like it was recorded in the same space. So some of his vocal parts had a little bit of room in the vocals. And what I mean by that is, like, if I don't know if you can hear the difference from me talking to you back here, but some of the room got captured in his recording, and so different levels of adjusting were needed. I worked first on getting the goes sounding good.
Go, 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 go. Stop my foot, that one go.
It already sounded really good. I just did a little bit of cleaning up and put a little bit of reverb on it. Now this next part, the Burnin' Rubber So Outcast part, I wanted it to be in a different space and have a different feeling, and based on the way that he recorded it and sent it to me, I felt like he was feeling the same way about it.
Stop my foot, that one Burn that rubber, so outcast, your life so flesh, I'm living fast up.
Now the main thing that's doing work there, the main effect, is this rotor cabinet. Check it out.
Living fast up, burn that rubber, so outcast, your life so flesh, I'm living fast.
See what that's doing there? Just puts it into a weird space and kind of makes it bounce from ear to ear. Nothing too special on the main vox in the verses. I just wanted his vocals to sound tight and clean.
Even close, this a big boys game. Y'all pressed on the host.
There was room for little moments like these.
Game. Y'all pressed on the host. Motherfuckers mad, they can never sit up on my thumb. Break my chain and escape my cage. Original to my death, I cut some meat in my own way, bitch.
So this part stood out to me because that room that you hear, that is natural reverb. That was already in his recording. I thought that was a cool moment, and I just wanted to keep that.
Original to my death, I cut some meat in my own way, bitch. You can never do the shit that I do, you can never.
You can hear how it's kind of in a different space. I fucked with that a lot.
The fit is something strong, survive.
And then I just added a deep layer at the end there. And that's pretty much all the processing I did on the main vox. And like I said, again, you can't really hear all the effects that are on there because some of them aren't working. But basically, there's just some effects on there to enhance the vox and help give it more volume and presence. And so DAEGHO not only sent me a main vox, but he sent me a right and left layer, which I think is really cool and different because that's not something a lot of trap metal-y vocalists do. But basically what that does is it makes your vox really wide, and I know that he likes that sort of sound. I love seeing that he don't just do one main take, and then copy that same take left and right. He actually goes in and records it several times so that you get 3 separate takes and 3 different versions of himself going on at the same time, which is great because that's how you get a really wide sound when you have all those little nuances in there that are different in each take. Genuine doubles work best almost all the time, but you can't always get them. So that was sick. So check out these layers that he sent me.
Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Stop my foot down when fucking surprised that motherfuckers I started with all drop dead like some fly.
And here's what they sound like together with the main.
Raise the bar another level so you can't reach my high. So take one step back.
Without those layers, it sounds a lot more narrow, right? Check it out.
If you ain't in my lane, you ain't even close. This a big boys game. Y'all pressed on the host. Motherfuckers mad, they can never sit up on my throne.
Pretty cool, right? The last thing I had were just some vocal effects. That's just taking this line right here and absolutely drenching it in reverb. It is extremely subtle, but it's just something that adds a little bit of top-end energy and makes that weird thing sound weirder. I just threw in some reverb accents on the vocals here and there. And then I have this fun little moment right here. So those are all the fun things I got to do with the vocals. It's always great to work with raw vocals because you get to do so much, and You just have so much freedom. DAEGHO was really professional. He sent them all labeled so that I could clearly see the main, the doubles, the ad-libs. That just makes the whole process fun. You know, once I have the vocals, it always gives me other ideas of sort of how to mold the beat around it and newer and smaller things that I can add in there to enhance it. So another small little thing that I added, while I was making this song, I really knew I wanted an arcane AMV. While I was making this song, I really knew I wanted an arcane AMV. I don't know nothing about League of Legends or none of that shit. I could care less about that, but the show, I had no idea what to expect, but the writing and everything so good. I fell in love with it. Because of that, I added in some other small little elements like this gunshot here. Right? Because it made me think of the character Jinx. Yeah, I just thought like it'd be a fun little addition. So I added in some small little nuances like that and sprinkled them in the track, and that was it. Mastered it, called it a wrap. So like I said, I knew I really wanted an arcane AMV edit, and I really loved what Ryoto did with my last song, Seems Like. Seems like everything goes back to the past. Check that out if you ain't. Once again, Ryoto's the man. Absolutely delivered. Video came out fire, really close to what I imagined, and I found this really dope artist on Fiverr who did the artwork. I explained to him what I wanted, and turned out better than I imagined. So the whole image of Overdrive was conceived while I was making the track, and I couldn't be happier with the way that it turned out. The whole track just felt really natural the whole way through. It was a really easy, stressless process. DAEGHO is one of the most professional people I worked with. Made the process super seamless. I knew this was gonna be special. You know, this track just felt good, and DAEGHO and I were both really excited about it, and just really excited to share it with y'all. So happy and so thankful that y'all have been really fucking with it, and that it's been really well received by everybody. I love the feedback that all y'all who fuck with it, like the biggest part that y'all love is DAEGHO. A lot of people had great things to say about him. Most people feel like he really helps make the track super unique, because everybody's expecting a lot of aggression, a lot of screaming, but DAEGHO comes in with this like whisper type vocal that's really chill and mellow and catchy, and I don't know, according to y'all fuck with that. So, you know, I think we made the right decision. DAEGHO's definitely the bro, you know? Got a lot of love for him. Scroll just recently supported it and posted it on their channel, so go check that out if you ain't. I'm working on a lot of stuff right now. Not sure how soon I'm gonna be able to get it to y'all, but hopefully soon. We'll see. Anyways, thank you guys so much, and as always, take care. Love you. Peace.
Ratchet for real, just stick to your 9 to 5.